Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're going crazy, like you're trying to solve a puzzle, but the pieces just keep changing shape right in your hands? One day, she's showering you with affection, making you feel like you're the only person in the world. The next, she's distant, cold, and her texts shrink down to one-word answers, leaving you questioning everything you thought was real. You start replaying conversations, analyzing every emoji, and you're just left feeling confused, anxious, and totally drained. You are not imagining things, and you are definitely not the only one who has felt this way. These confusing patterns are what people call games. They're behaviors that create uncertainty and emotional instability, designed to test your reactions and see how much you're willing to take. It's a psychological chess match you never even agreed to play. Now, as a woman, I'm going to do something a little risky here. I'm going to pull back the curtain and break the unofficial girl code. I'm not just going to confess the most common emotional games some women use. More importantly, I'm going to give you a 7-step, practical action plan to counter every single move. This isn't about playing games back. It's about rising above them. It's about building a core of inner strength so solid that no game can ever shake you again. So if you're ready to take back your power, let's get into it. Before we jump into the 7 strategies, it's really important to understand why these games even happen. It's rarely as simple as labeling someone a bad person. Often these manipulative behaviors aren't even gender-specific. They can be used by anyone and usually come from a place of deep insecurity, fear, or past trauma. Think of it like this. Someone who is genuinely secure and trusts other people doesn't need to play games. They can just say what they need and how they feel, openly and honestly. But someone who is terrified of being vulnerable, who fears rejection, or who has a deep-down belief that they aren't enough, might use these tactics as a weird form of self-protection. Take the classic hot and cold behavior, for instance. That can be a subconscious way to keep you at a safe distance. By pulling you in and then pushing you away, they stay in control of the emotional temperature of the relationship. In the same way, making you jealous isn't always a malicious plot. Sometimes it's a messed up, unhealthy way to check if you're still interested and to feel valuable in your eyes. Understanding this doesn't excuse the behavior. Manipulation is still manipulation, and it's damaging. But seeing it as a symptom of insecurity, instead of a calculated act of evil, lets you handle it with logic instead of pure emotion. It takes the personal sting out of it and changes the question from, "What's wrong with me?" to "What unhealthy pattern am I seeing?" and "How do I respond with strength and self-respect?" Getting that is the first real step to reclaiming your power. The first and most powerful strategy is to master what I call the emotional mirror. This isn't about being petty or playing a game back. It's about protecting your energy and refusing to overinvest when you're getting nothing in return. Here's the classic scenario. She's been super engaged and then boom, she pulls back. Her texts get shorter. Her excitement disappears. The normal reactive response is to panic. You start texting more, you ask what's wrong, you try to close that gap she just created. When you do that, you hand over all of your power. You've just shown her that her pulling back directly controls your actions. The emotional mirror is the exact opposite. You simply match her energy level, calmly and without any passive aggression. If she gets distant, you get busy with your life. You don't ignore her to be spiteful. You just redirect the energy you were giving her back to yourself. You hit the gym, you crush it at work, you hang out with your friends, you become a reflection of the energy she's putting out. This is a game changer for 2 reasons. First, it immediately breaks the cycle of you chasing her for validation, a game you can never, ever win. The more you chase, the less attractive you seem, because it signals you don't value yourself. Second, it creates a void. She's used to her pulling back getting a predictable, anxious reaction. When you don't give her that, when you stay calm, centered, and seemingly unfazed, it completely disrupts her pattern. She's left thinking, wait, why isn't he chasing? Is he not interested anymore? Is he really that confident? This isn't about making her chase you, though that can be a side effect. This is about respecting yourself enough not to pour your emotional energy into a black hole. In a world of instant everything, the ability to just pause is a superpower. Manipulative games feed on your emotional reactions. The person playing them wants to know they can push a button and get you to jump. Let's talk about text response times. When someone is playing games, a long delay before they respond is often a subtle power move. It's meant to make you anxious, to get you checking your phone, to keep you guessing. The reactive guy will text back the second she finally responds after hours of silence. He's rewarding her for it, showing he was just sitting by the phone waiting for a crumb of her attention. Wielding the power of the pause means you refuse to be reactive. When she takes 6 hours to answer a simple question, you don't need to play a childish tit-for-tat game and wait exactly 6 hours and 1 minute. Instead, you just give yourself the freedom to respond when it's actually convenient for you. This goes way beyond texting. If she says something provocative or tries to bait you into a dramatic fight, the instinct is to jump in and defend yourself right away. Don't. Take a breath. Pause. You can even say, "That's an interesting thought. Let me think about that for a second." This pause does 3 incredible things. It gives you time to think logically instead of emotionally, so you don't say something you'll regret. It shows you're not easily triggered, which is a sign of huge emotional strength. It completely disarms the person trying to get a rise out of you. They expect a fight, and you give them calm consideration. It derails their whole script. The power of the pause isn't about ignoring someone, it's about refusing to be controlled by their timeline or their emotional bait. The word no is the single best tool for setting boundaries and earning respect. A lot of guys are afraid to use it because they think it will lead to rejection or a fight. But the truth is, not being able to say no sends a clear signal that you don't respect yourself. And if you don't respect yourself, why should she? People who play games are constantly testing your boundaries. They want to see how much they can get from you, how much you'll bend, and how much you'll sacrifice your own needs just to please them. The guy who's afraid of losing her will say, "No problem," every single time. He'll change his schedule, drop his own plans, and constantly bend over backward, hoping his availability will win her over. Instead, it just breeds disrespect. He becomes reliable, but not desirable. Embracing the power of no means you state your limits clearly, calmly, and without feeling like you have to apologize for them. For example, if she cancels on you last minute for the 3rd time, you don't get angry. You just say, "I get that things come up, but my time is valuable to me and I can't keep rearranging my schedule."
Let me know when you have a better idea of your week.
Using no does 2 things. First, it's a great filter. A person who actually respects you will accept your boundary. They might be disappointed, but they'll get it. A person trying to use you will likely get angry or try to guilt trip you. That's a huge red flag, and it tells you everything you need to know about their character. Second, setting boundaries is how you build self-respect. Every time you say yes when you really mean no, you chip away at your own self-worth. Every time you honor your limits, you build yourself up. This next one is so often misunderstood. It's not about acting like you don't care. It's about genuinely building a life that is so fulfilling that the outcome of any single relationship doesn't determine your happiness. This is your core of self-reliance. So many guys make the mistake of making a woman the absolute center of their universe, especially early on. Their happiness starts to depend on her mood, her attention, her validation. A single text message can make or break their entire day. This emotional dependency is the playing field where manipulative games are won. Cultivating a strong core means your sense of worth and happiness comes from inside you, not from someone else. It comes from your purpose, your hobbies, your friendships, and your own growth. When you have a life you are truly passionate about, a woman's attention becomes a fantastic addition to your life, not the source of your happiness. So how do you actually do this? Have a mission. What are you working on? Your career, a side project, a fitness goal. A man with a mission is magnetic because he has a direction that has nothing to do with a relationship. Invest in yourself. Prioritize taking care of yourself. Get enough sleep, eat well, exercise, and do things that recharge you. When you take care of yourself, you send a powerful subconscious message that you are valuable. Keep your friends. Don't be that guy who ghosts his friends the second he starts dating someone. Get comfortable with solitude. Learn to be happy in your own company. If you're always looking for a distraction or validation from others, you'll never build that inner strength. When you have this strong core, her games lose all their power. If she pulls away, it doesn't send you into a tailspin because you have other meaningful things to focus on. If she tries to make you jealous, it just won't work because your confidence doesn't depend on her validation. You stop asking, "How can I make her like me?" And you start asking, "Does this person's behavior actually fit into the life I'm building for myself?" That change in perspective is the ultimate power move. Okay, we're at the halfway point, and if this is hitting home for you, it's because these dynamics are everywhere but are rarely broken down in a way that actually helps. The goal here isn't to create more division between men and women, but to give you the tools for self-respect so you can build healthier relationships. If you're getting value from this, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. And I'm really curious, drop a comment below and tell me which one of these games you've seen before. Sharing your story helps everyone here realize they're not going through it alone. Now let's get back to the plan. People who thrive on manipulation often love drama. They create conflict, use guilt, or drop passive-aggressive comments to get a reaction out of you. Getting into it with them is like mud wrestling. Even if you win, you still walk away covered in mud. The only winning move is to refuse to play. You do this by learning to deflect and redirect. Let's say she says something passive-aggressive, like, "Must be nice to have so much free time to just go to the gym," with a tone that implies you're selfish. The reactive response is to get defensive. What is that supposed to mean? I work hard. And just like that, you're in a fight. You took the bait. The masterful response is to refuse the bait completely. You can deflect with some playful humor or just redirect the conversation. Playful deflection. It is. You should try it sometime. It's awesome. Then you smile and change the topic. Clarifying questions. You can also ask a simple, non-emotional question to make her own her words. What do you mean by that? Redirection. Or you can just ignore the hidden meaning and respond to the words themselves. Yeah, it was a great workout. Anyway, I was thinking of grabbing dinner later. Are you hungry? You completely sidestep the drama and move on. This works because it starves the manipulator of the emotional reaction they're feeding on. Drama needs two people. If you refuse to pick up your end of the rope, the drama fizzles out. It shows that you operate on a level-headed plane and won't be dragged into emotional chaos. It also forces the other person to communicate more directly if they actually want to solve a problem. This is a subtle but incredibly powerful strategy that will reshape your relationships over time. It's based on a simple idea. You get more of what you reward. This isn't about training your partner. That's just another form of manipulation. This is about consciously choosing which behaviors you appreciate, which fosters a healthier dynamic. Think about it. When she's being distant, difficult, or disrespectful, and you respond by chasing harder, begging for attention, or trying to please her, what are you actually doing? You're rewarding the negative behavior. You're basically teaching her that the best way to get your full, undivided attention is to treat you poorly. The alternative is to do the complete opposite. When she shows positive, healthy behavior, when she's open, communicative, respectful, and warm, that's when you lean in. That's when you give her your focused attention, your appreciation, and your affection. You can say things like, "I really appreciate how open you're being with me," or "I have the best time with you when we connect like this." Conversely, when she starts playing games or being disrespectful, you don't reward it. You don't get angry or punish her. You simply become less available. You create some distance. Over time, this creates a clear pattern. Good, respectful behavior brings you closer. Games and disrespect create distance. Anyone who actually wants a healthy connection with you will start to adjust their approach, because they'll see it's the only path to real intimacy with you. And a person who is committed to manipulation will likely just fade away, because their old tricks no longer work on you. This is it, the final and most important strategy of all. This is the foundation that everything else is built on. You must always know your walkaway point. This is your non-negotiable line in the sand, the point where the disrespect, the games, or the emotional chaos becomes too much, and you are willing to walk away from the relationship for good, no matter how much you might like her. Without a firm walkaway point, all the other strategies are just bluffs. You can mirror her behavior, set boundaries, and deflect drama, but if she senses deep down that you'll never actually leave, she holds all the power. Your boundaries mean nothing if there are no real consequences for crossing them. Your walkaway point is deeply personal. It's based on your core values and what you need to feel safe and respected. Maybe it's cheating. Maybe it's repeated, blatant disrespect. Knowing your walkaway point is an internal promise you make to yourself. It's the ultimate act of self-respect. It says, "I value my peace, my dignity, and my sanity more than I fear being alone." This inner resolve creates an aura of genuine confidence. People can sense when someone is willing to walk away. They can feel when your presence in their life is a choice, not a desperate need. A man who isn't afraid to lose a woman is the man who is least likely to. His standards are high, his boundaries are real, and he refuses to settle for a toxic dynamic. And if you ever have to do it, you walk away cleanly, with your head held high. No drama, no angry speeches. You simply state that this relationship is no longer working for you and wish them the best. Walking away isn't a failure. It's the ultimate success, the success of choosing yourself. So that's the roadmap. From the emotional mirror to knowing your walkaway point, these 7 ideas aren't just tactics. They're about mastering yourself. This is about building an unshakable foundation of self-respect, setting healthy boundaries, and learning to respond to life with calm logic instead of knee-jerk emotional reactions. Healthy relationships are built on trust, open communication, and mutual respect, and these strategies are designed to filter out any dynamic that lacks those things. Let me be clear. Emotional openness from a man is a sign of incredible strength, but only when it's shared in a safe and respectful environment. If you find yourself in a situation where these games are constant, it might be a sign of a deeply unhealthy or toxic dynamic, and getting support from friends or even a professional is a true sign of strength. Ultimately, you attract what you are. When you become a man who is calm, centered, and respects himself, you will naturally start attracting people who value those same qualities. The games will just fade away, not because you learned to play them better, but because your very presence will communicate that you're not a man to be played with. You're a man to be respected. Thanks for watching. If this guide was helpful, please like and share it with someone who might need to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe for more content on building strength, confidence, and healthier relationships. Stay strong.